Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This is Bucket Ponds and my name is Terry. Today I have a special treat for you. We are turning this little bottle into a nice DIY Ecosphere. Here on the channel, we never open our Ecospheres. We keep them sealed forever. I'm not one of those guys that pops them open and sniffs the contents. Nothing weird like that. But I'm actually filming this on Wednesday night and it's very hot out here. But we're doing some nighttime collecting to get our samples for this tank, and we're going to cut to that right now. But as it is, I have all of my samples collected, I have all my plants ready, and we shouldn't have to do too much editing on this video. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. I make a new video every Friday. We're going to jump right in. I'm going to show you those night collecting videos right now, and then we're going to build this Ecosphere. So you've seen the night collecting footage. My ponds are amazing at night. I had no idea that they were so active, that we had so many frogs out here. It's great. The fish were very interested in what we were doing. It's pretty cool. But tonight we're going to take this bottle and turn that into a nice sealed DIY Ecosphere. You could consider this a tutorial. I'm going to show you how to build one. I'm going to show you what I use to make it. And yeah, theoretically you should be able to do this at home. But that being said, be very careful. Avoid alligators. Please know what you're doing. Always wash your hands, etc., etc. Be safe, guys. But tonight, this monster coffee bottle here is going to become a nice sealed Ecosphere. So to start with, we're going to use some potting mix, some organic compost here. I'm going to throw it in there. Not going to use very much of it. Alright, so there's our compost layer. I added just a little bit of our pond water to wash the glass and to wet the soil. When you throw your soil in there, it will be a little dirty at first, but I assure you it will clean up as you fill the tank up. Our next step is to add some sand to cap that soil and keep it pinned down in the bottom. I'm actually using river silt here, collected from my own yard, but originally it came from the Alapaha River here in southern Georgia. We're just going to kind of plop that in there. I want a good sand layer to start with because I've had some Ecospheres where the soil just floats to the surface and totally messes everything up. We don't want that to happen. I am filming this outdoors at night, so we may see the occasional moth or something buzzing by. That's totally okay. Alright, so we have our silt included. It made a little bit of a mess, but that's fine. And now we're just going to use our 12-inch scissors here to flatten out our soil or our sand layer. Make sure we have a good healthy layer of sand on top of all of that dirt. And ideally I would like to have a little bit of an incline, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. So our next step is to add some lava rock. These are just little lava rock pebbles, and they help to promote the beneficial bacteria in the tank. If you've never seen an Ecosphere, if you don't know what they are, I'll explain it to you right now as we go. An Ecosphere works by combining plants, algae, animals, and bacteria to create a sealed ecosystem. And yeah, it should last for quite a long time. This is technically a Wallstad setup, meaning that we have soil pinned by sand, and the Wallstad method. The Wallstad method helps to encourage plants to grow. It adds nutrients to the water and kind of kickstarts the system. You could do it without the Wallstad method, but in my experience, it leads to long-lasting, healthy ecosystems. So now we're going to include our plants. I'm using some creeping jenny stems, which should look really great in there. I'll probably just use one, maybe two. Now for tools, I do suggest that you use some 12-inch tweezers to really get down in there and to plant your plants. Without these tweezers, you will have a very hard time setting up a tank like this. And I'm also using the lava rock to pin those plants in place. One more creeping jenny stem, just because I happen to collect two from my garden. And I love creeping jenny, it's so great. The leaves are actually sort of like a succulent. And I've even had guppies consume the leaves of these creeping jenny plants directly. So they, even if they wilt and die, they will act as food for the pets inside. And hopefully they'll survive and grow, which is what we want. That looks really nice. And I think it'll be a beautiful ecosphere. So we have our soil, our sand, which you can see here, our soil and our sand layer, with a few lava rocks to help promote beneficial bacteria. The lava rock adds a lot of surface area for the bacteria to grow. We have our plants, our creeping Jenny stems, to act as photosynthesis, to act as an oxygen source and a filter for the water. So here we have some samples taken directly from my pool pond outside, which was set up, like a month ago, something like that. And I'm just going to slowly inject this water. There we go. And you see I'm using the lava rock as a sort of shield to protect the sand layer from being eroded. There we go. We might lose a little water here, which is unfortunate. Now this isn't going to be the prettiest tank in the world. We are using all natural sources here. My main goal is to ensure that we get some ostracods, while also, of course, capturing some other creatures as well. The water may be a bit hazy at first, but that's okay. As things settle, it will clear up. Now, normally I would just dump the jars into this tank, but I'm trying to avoid capturing any dragonfly larvae, which they're beautiful and I love them. They're very interesting creatures, but they will not make it inside of a sealed ecosphere. So ideally we don't want any dragonfly larvae in here. We have a small green tree frog that has appeared on one of my collection jars, and he must have just jumped on there from inside the swamp shack here. Alright, so I don't want to add too much water to the tank. We do want to leave an air pocket. A small amount, a small surface area here for the plants to breathe. This will become our atmosphere, basically. And that is an important part of any ecosphere. I'm going to move our little frog buddy out of the way here now. There we go. He's looking a little skinny, so I hope he gets some bugs soon. I'm allowing the gases to exchange with the water a little bit, letting things settle down, and then we're going to put the lid on it nice and tight. Now there are some plenty of other ways to create an ecosphere. There are some more popular channels out there on YouTube, and they just dunk a jar in a pond, and they call it an ecosphere. They put the lid on it, and then they film the creatures that they've captured, and then of course everything dies, and it's very disappointing. On the other hand, I like to carefully set up my ecospheres. I include special plants, algae, and bacteria samples to encourage these ecospheres to survive. My goal is to make a tank that will last for many years. Whereas my competitors, they just don't seem to care. One of the most popular channels, I'm not going to say his name while I promote the guy, but he'll straight up just open a tank, sniff the contents, and act all weird about it. Like you're avoiding the entire experiment when you open one of these jars. You may hear some frogs croaking in the background. Nothing I can do about that. But let's grab the macro lens. Let's take a good look inside the tank, see what we captured, and then, yeah, we'll put the lid on it. Oh, there's an ostracod. See if we can't get him in focus. It's very hard to properly film these very small animals. There we go, yep, he's coming up to the duckweed. We have some other creatures in there swimming around as well. I can guarantee that little dot was actually an ostracod, but I see what appears to be a copepod. Things settle down, the water will clear up a little bit. It may become slightly green, which is fine. Yes, oh there we go, we have some kind of small creature up there swimming around. I cannot directly identify everything that we see in here, So don't be surprised, you know, if like I just can't tell you what it is. I don't have a microscope as of yet, so it can be difficult to properly identify every single creature in here. But that appears to be a water mite, that little black dot swimming around, sort of drifting. And I'm hoping that this little thing right here might actually be a tiny leech. I do have leeches in my aquariums, in my outdoor ponds at least. Now it looks like we captured something quite large in there. I cannot quite get it into focus just yet. But we'll keep trying. That is moving very much like a caseworm. It appears that we have captured a caseworm in our new tank here, guys. That's pretty cool. If we're lucky, they'll start breeding. There's also a copepod in the bottom left corner there. I'm going to lower the camera a little bit. Yes. There above the leaf on the left side, that appears to be a copepod. Though I could be wrong, it is some kind of small creature. But that stem in there moving around, that's a caseworm. I'm very happy to see them. They can reproduce asexually, and they can actually divide into other worms. And yeah, so as long as we have one and it manages to survive in here, we should have a healthy population of caseworms. Now it appears as though he's struggling a bit with some of the debris that's clung onto his shell, to his tube, or whatever you want to call him. But he should be fine. Yeah, these caseworms are pretty persistent. And I'm just playing with the lighting a little bit to try and get a better view of this character. But this is a great sign for our ecosphere here, guys. Remember, my ultimate goal is to create a self-sustaining ecosystem in a jar. I have no interest in ever opening these projects. I have no interest in, you know, avoiding the experiment in that way. Our ecosystems, our ecospheres, once sealed, they remain sealed forever. And as a viewer, you know, when I was watching these other channels make their ecospheres and do stuff like that, I was very disappointed in them when they would open them up. You know, it just totally ruined it for me. So when I started my channel, I said never, never will we open an ecosphere. There may be other terms for this. The term self-sustaining is a good one. A self-sustaining ecosystem in a jar. And I think that might be the title that we use for this project. So you're probably sick of seeing this caseworm, but I'm just so happy to have them in here. That's a great sign. So far we have 2 or 3 different species. We have some great plants in here. I know for a fact that we have some strong algae that was included in the pond samples. And I'm very happy with the tank. We're coming up on 400 subscribers. We got like, what was it, 30,000 views when I looked last month. We have so many watch minutes. I'm just amazed, guys. We're not supposed to talk about analytics, but I'm so happy. Thank all of you for just watching and participating. You know, thanks to my dad and my wife for you know, enjoying my stuff. My dad especially, he watches these videos, every single video I put out, comes and talks to me about it. It's really cool. It gives us a chance to bond, you know. Very happy with it. Very happy to have made it and shared it with you. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it now. We're going to lock it up tight, and it will remain sealed for years to come. Oh, let me make sure I didn't cross-thread that. All right, so she's sealed up nice and tight. That's an airtight lid there. It does have a small silicone seal around it, and I'm very happy with it. You can find bottles like this almost anywhere in the world. You can find your own mixture of plants and animals right in your own area. And you can build your own version of this ecosphere. There's our little frog buddy. He just nailed a moth over here. So that's pretty cool. And I'm glad to have him hanging around. The channel's getting bigger and bigger every day. It's a slow grind, but it's working. And I'm so happy. One day, if we, you know, do well enough, if we become one of those big channels, we'll be able to do this stuff full time. I'll make you a video every day, guys. So thanks for watching. My name's Terry. This is Bucket Ponds, and this is our DIY Ecosphere tutorial.